Hello. I promise I'm a professional here. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. We're just gonna relax right now for this midweek relaxation. How's everyone doing? I think it's been a very long past couple of weeks, but it feels so good to return to streaming again. I'm very happy to be here. I hope the mic sounds good. So, I wonder how everyone's week is going. My week's been very busy. I was a bit late to my stream, but that's okay. I woke up this morning and I've been doing like these almost like manifestation exercises every morning. I've been trying to start my day with the mindset that it's going to be a good day and that everything is going to work out. I very strongly believe that what you do and how you think when you first get up in the morning will affect your entire day. So if you go into the day with the mindset that things are going to work out, it's going to be a good day, then everything will work out. I know how hard it can be to break negative thought patterns and to change where your mind goes. It's so easy to get stuck in the cycle of negativity and to just think that things are going to get worse no matter what you do. And it's so easy to just endlessly cycle through these bad thoughts and to overthink. That is something that I have struggled with in the past. And I know how hard it can be to break these thought patterns, especially when you've struggled with feelings of anxiety before. So something I've been trying to do when I've noticed myself falling into these thought patterns is I take a second and I remind myself where I am and of the present, and I let those thoughts go. I acknowledge that they're there, but I let them go. Being present is a good way to remind yourself of where you are and what's around you, and to not get yourself all worked up over what could be. I'm going to use an example of this, of something that I've been through personally. When I was younger, I used to be terribly afraid of needles, like to the point where I would cry and throw a fit whenever I'd get a shot. So, knowing that I had to get a shot, I would work myself up in anticipation for that pain because I didn't like being in pain and it was scary to me. But I often figured out that often the pain that I envisioned in my head was much worse than the pain I would actually experience. So I would just remind myself as I got older that if I went into the mindset that it was just going to be over and I'd get it over with, I would not work myself up into that fit. And yes, it would hurt for a second, but then it'd be over. This is something I've struggled with frequently, even as an adult. You know, I have attention deficit disorder, so I do find it quite difficult to begin tasks that I consider unpleasant. And I know it's hard to get yourself motivated in the first place, especially if you already have a disorder. So what I do is I just come up with a plan. I say I'm gonna do it by this time and it's gonna get done, and then I have the rest of my day to relax. There's a saying that goes, if you eat a frog first thing in the morning, then everything else will seem better. So that's why I like to deal with the unpleasant things early on. And then that way everything else will seem easy. And getting that task accomplished will carry me through the rest of my day. I often find it works best to get the most difficult thing out of the way first thing in the morning. That way the rest of the day will seem easier. Especially when you complete the tasks that you need to get done. You'll feel so good once you start checking things off on your list. You'll see just how much you've accomplished. I do believe that humans as a whole are highly motivated creatures, but I think that life is also very difficult. And there's just so much going on that we get overwhelmed. It's almost like we get frozen with decision what we should do first. Where should we go? But just acknowledging that it's going to be okay. Sometimes a little bit of unpleasantness is worth it in the end. Let me just adjust the mic here for a bit. I do hear a lot of like echoing. Let's see here. Okay, that looks good. Maybe my headphones. Hang on. Sorry. There's a lot. I can actually hear it. Let me just turn that down. There we go. Just make some adjustments. There we go. Is that better? That's better. Why is my mic picking? Of course, I'm trying to help you all relax. Somebody's doing yard work outside. Oh, you're just experiencing what I'm hearing. I just moved my mic here. That is very loud, I'm sorry. So, I do hope that we can have a pleasant stream despite all the noises outside. As always when I'm trying to do like a quiet stream, isn't it? It's alright. I'm sorry. Anyway, let me see if I can filter out. Is this on? So, Here we go. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They're like right outside my window right now. It's always when I'm trying to do a quiet stream. My goodness, such bad timing. Oh my god, it's so loud. I'm sorry. Yard work and this ASMR stream. Oh, the joys of doing this live. Hopefully they'll get done soon. At least it's not like 7 a.m. Because when I still lived with my parents, they would have somebody come over to do yard work, and they would come over so early, and there were days when I would have to work late at night, so I'd be trying to catch up on some sleep, and it would be so loud. Oh my gosh, it's like turning off my mic. It's getting loud now. Oh my god. Just like right outside my window, and I live on a ground floor condo, so it's like especially loud whenever there's something going on out there. It's alright. I'm just gonna put my mic in a better position so it could hear me better. I thought moving my mic away from the window would help with this. It's like right in my ear. Oh god. That was so loud. That was so loud. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Being in a condo, it's like messing up my mic because it's so loud out there, and it's like right outside my window. I'm so sorry. I wanted to help y'all relax, but this is what y'all get. Oh my god. When I started this, they weren't doing it. Like when I was getting set up, I thought they were done. But it looks like they haven't finished yet. I don't know how long it's gonna go on for necessarily. I hope they end soon because this is real difficult. I'm sorry. It's like right outside my window, and it's like messing with my mic because it's just really loud. I can actually feel it vibrating the floor. It's that loud. Okay, sounds like they're moving away. So, I don't know if you've all heard on stream, but I have some really noisy upstairs neighbors. And I asked my landlord about it. I said, hey, what's up with the neighbors upstairs? Like, why? What's going on with them? Like, who are they? And he just sent a GIF of Godzilla like stomping around, so he's like at least aware of it. But I swear to God, I can hear like when I'm like sleeping, because they get up really early. I think they work from home, but I feel every night, every morning, they like stomp and it's like and it like shakes the condo, and I'm like, oh my God, there's literally Godzilla up there, and like I can hear the walls like creaking. Like it's like worse in the bedroom than it is in here, because the room I'm streaming in is like an internal room. Oh, they're not doing it now, but like they've done it before while I was streaming, and it like definitely picked up on my microphone. But it's like it's like especially loud in the bedroom because I think that's where their living room is. But it is so loud. It's like, oh my God. Like, why are they stomping? Like, what the heck? And like, you know, I expected some noise, but like I didn't expect it to be that loud. Like, oh my God. They're like, I don't know, sometimes they like jump up there. It's you know, when you live in buildings like this, you do hear a lot of things. Like earlier today, I was going out to do some shopping, and right as I was leaving, I could hear like people like talking inside their condos, and I'm just like, oh my God, can they like hear me sometimes? Like that's my biggest fear, is like them hearing me like saying something. That's why the room I stream in is like an internal room. Yeah, I live on a ground floor, up like condo, so I'm not concerned with like me being like loud when I move around. I'm usually kind of light-footed anyway. And like I put down some rugs to just kind of help with the noise too. So like also like one thing about having an internal room is I don't have to worry about like people hearing me through the walls. The only people who can probably hear me are my upstairs neighbors. And I do remember that like music stream I had a couple of weeks ago. It was like funny because I was doing a bit of singing, and I think I did get a little loud, and like I could hear them singing above me. I think they were like listening. I mean, I don't mind, because I'm gonna be real here. I think a lot of my neighbors aren't. I don't think English is their first language, because they speak in a different language than I do. So I think they might not understand what I'm saying a lot of the time. Because, you know, if I see them out in the hallway, I'll like say hi to them, or like thank you if they hold the door open for me. And a lot of the times they just like look at me like they don't really know what I'm saying. Like I think some of them might still be learning English, which is fine. Like I don't mind. I do live in a very multicultural city, so I mean, it's something I expected moving here, so I understand that I would probably encounter a few language barriers living here, but I don't mind. Maybe. But I do hear them talking to each other, and they are speaking a language that's not English. So the kids in the hallways speak English, but the older ones I think are still learning. Like the school age kids do speak English, but that's very common, with when you have immigrants and like people who have come here from other countries, like usually the kids pick up on English first before the older people, because they speak English in the schools. I do have some Scandinavian relatives, and they're Scandinavian descent. So when they first came here, they settled in Wisconsin, which is an area that has a lot of Scandinavian people. And when they came here, they said, they're not going to be speaking Swedish and Norwegian in the schools here. They're going to be speaking English. So again, like I said, the children learned English really fast. Yeah, there's one side of my mother's side that they came here from Scandinavia, like Sweden and Norway, a few generations back. So, yeah, I have a bit of that heritage. Everyone else in my family has been here for many, 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 many centuries. I think since like the 1600s they've been here, so yeah, that's like they've been here for a very, very long time. My mother even has some paperwork showing like when they settled here. I do think they try to learn, English is a very difficult language to learn. So they do try. I think, when you put them on the spot like that, they kind of just like can't like process it. Because I do encounter a lot of ESL a lot of ESL people in my job. And it's almost like you gotta give them time to process what you're saying to them. And like be patient as they come up with the words to like talk back. Like I've been to Canada, like Quebec, and they largely speak French there. And I would do my best to talk to them in French and speak to them, because a lot of them, especially the older people, don't actually know English. They all speak French. So I would try to at least like process it and like tell them, look, I'm not fluent. So I would just like tell them, well, first I would say I would ask if they speak English, and if I at least asked that, then they would try their best. And like, if they said no, then I would try their best to like talk to them in French and communicate. And especially like in Canada, because I would learn like France French. And so I'd speak with the like a French dialect because the teacher I learned from was from France. So I would speak with that dialect, and you know, it's a little different in Canada. So sometimes I would have to like clarify what I was trying to talk about. It's kind of like how like I speak American English, and I understand like a lot of the different dialects here, and I understand like, you know, even within the US there are many different accents and like ways of talking. And like even though it's the same language, it can still be very different. Even between the way they talk in America and the way they talk over in England, it's still very different. That's why I say English is such a difficult language to learn, is because there are different sayings, and like English, it's almost like we talk in memes in a way. Especially the younger people, we talk in different dialects, and like we use different like words than what the older people use. And a lot of the way young people talk nowadays is very heavily influenced by African American vernacular English. And I think even like 50 years ago, the way we talked was very different. I'm just yapping. I'm just yapping. I just say what's on my mind. It's it's one of those days, you know, where I just rant and ramble, and something that I'm very good at. I guess since I'm getting a bit older, a lot of like the stuff younger people say nowadays, I have to actually like look up what it means, because I really don't know a lot of it. I feel like I'm just like out of touch sometimes. So I was like, you know, doing my daily internet like search earlier, and I saw that the People magazine announced the Sexiest Man Award for this year. And the man who won it, I literally had no idea who he was. I had to like look up who he was. And like, I think that's the first time I've been like clueless as to who the celebrity was. And like, yes, I'm a very old like cambion, but you know, I do enjoy movies, so I know who a lot of movie stars are, or at least popular. And I do know some musicians, like what they look like. But like, you know, I think the guy who won it this time was some kind of musician, but I can't name a single song. I think, actually, I do know one song from him, and that's because he did a song with Halsey. And if you follow me long enough, y'all know I adore Halsey. Like, I've listened to every single album I've listened to. Like, I know a lot of her songs by heart, and I've even seen her live a few times. So that's the one thing I know him from, is a song he did with one of my favorite artists. And yeah, it's a really good song. that would be an interesting stream, is me trying to like name all the popular celebrities from like this generation, because I literally don't know a lot of them. I do know like a lot of them who are popular in like the 2000s and like the 2010s. Even yeah, yeah, you would be surprised. And a lot of them are like really successful too. I think there's a I think one of the most popular Hololive streamers is in her 30s. And I think like that's because VTubing as a whole is very expensive. And, you know, people who can financially afford this will probably most likely be older because they're more settled in their jobs. I've heard that a lot of the more successful streamers are actually older. And I think that's because they have a certain era of experience and maturity that draws people to them. Because I think what people are looking for in VTubing is they're looking for somebody who can make them feel happy and who can give them comfort and help them escape for the day. Hi, Reeb. It's good. I'm doing good. So I think that's why a lot of the more popular VTubers are actually older, like in their 30s or even 40s, is because they have that maturity and experience that people are drawn to and just like to be around. In a way, I guess it's kind of like being around a favorite teacher, like a teacher you really look up to. I would usually get along better with the older teachers when I would grow up because I felt like they would have so much to offer. I do like talking to older humans because they've just seen so much. I mean, granted, I'm older too, but you know, demons like us, we do age a bit slower. So like mentally, I'm still relatively young compared to some maybe like a 70-year-old human. I'm like still relatively inexperienced. Also living in the wild for a long time, you know, you don't really mentally mature much. Yeah. Exactly. I think both sides have their benefits. Like, younger VTubers bring energy, and like a lot of them have newer ideas. And they're able to stream more because a lot of them are healthier. But older VTubers like offer experience and maturity and like insight. There's a VTuber I really look up to who's in his, he said he's older, he's in his 30s, Fulgur Ovid. And unfortunately, he has talked about his health problems before and about how he can't do certain things because of his health. But I think what he offers and what he brings to the community is so valuable that he doesn't need to do like concerts. He doesn't need to do like 3D or performances. He doesn't need to do all this because what he brings to people and how he makes people feel is just as valuable as what other people, younger people, might offer. That's why I say, like, you're never too old to start. You're never too old to stream. You're never too old to create. Because I promise you that what you do has value. Even if you're limited by health or finances. 30s is young, yeah. But if you're limited by health or finances, it doesn't matter. Because I guarantee that someone out there will connect with what you're doing. Yeah, 30s is young, and it's really sad because he does have like health issues that affect him, like affect how he works and affect his ability to travel and see other people and move around. It's really sad because 30s is like the time where you're supposed to get out there and like explore and get to know the world, but unfortunately he can't do it because of his health. So in a way, VTubing is a way for him to connect and create, even when his own body limits him from doing it. A lot of VTubers I found actually have poor health, and that's why they become VTubers. Iron Mouse, like, she has that immune system disorder where she can't leave her house, so she's like housebound most of the time and like bedridden. Yeah, it was amazing. In Vox's movie, I actually cried. Like, it was so touching because because it's more of what I know about Vox and what he's been through. And like, his struggles with his mental health and how close he is with Fu-chan and just having Fu-chan in that moment. It was so beautiful. And I'm just glad that he was able to have that. You see, that's why I adore the Lambros as streamers, is because they have that special connection. And they are both so kind and mature and loving towards their fans. That's why I really admire them. They give their fans like that feeling of them being able to accomplish anything they can set their mind to. They fill people with a lot of hope, and they just create this warm space around themselves where people can just relax and have a good time. That's why I respect them so much. You should watch Minotaur. It's really, really cool. I also think a lot of people underestimate just how incredible Fu-chan is. Because every time he does something like that, he hits it out of the park every single time. I honestly think with VTubing, we're going to see such a big change with how people create content and how people engage. Hi Hi, Zach. How are you? I do think we're gonna see more of like. I'm good, I'm good. Just having a bit of a chat before I head to work later. I think we're going to see like more crossover into things that aren't related to VTubing. I do want to kind of go beyond like what is traditional and what is expected. Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool. Goop did great. Yeah. Oh yeah, they are definitely. Especially the Hollow girls. Like they are treated like celebrities. And like, you know, Callie is making like anime openings. Like she's writing songs for anime. Which is, I'm so proud of her because that is something she wanted to do. I just find it so cool that people are able to achieve their dreams because of this medium. And, you know, I do have dreams of my own too. I have things I want to do in the future once I get the means to. I do have plans. It is still going to be quite a ways off, but you know, it's yeah. I mean, I have been streaming a lot lately. I have been streaming a lot more, trying to engage more. It did help that I moved out. Like, now that I have my own space for it, and I don't have to, like, be accommodating, and sometimes I couldn't stream at all because of time constraints. But now that I have my own space and I'm kind of on my own schedule, it is nice. You know, I can't help but think of how lucky I got because I was able to find such a nice place so quickly. And it's like perfect for what I need. I should probably eat lunch soon. Yeah, they are. They are. They are reasonable, and like, you know, I'm not very loud. Like I said, I do stream in an internal room, so it's not like I'm sharing a wall with anybody. Because my apartment, it's like laid out. Yeah, yeah. I there is there is a bit of fate and destiny, but I also think part of it was my own doing. I do think, yeah, yeah. I do think that you shouldn't leave everything up to fate. Like, people should at least try to make things happen for themselves. Because I was asking around, like, people I knew. Yeah. Because I really wanted to move out and, like, start streaming again and, like, just have my own space because I love my family. I love them so much. But, you know, it was time to go. It was time to start something of my own. And, you know, I was asking around and I was just asking people, like, if they knew anybody who had places to rent. And so I asked an acquaintance of mine who I knew who had a couple properties. I asked if he had anything available. Yeah. And he said, oh, I don't, not right now, but because he had just like rented this unit out to somebody he knew. And he said, but I'll let you know if something were to become available. And then that person he was going to rent to pulled out. And then so he was like, hey, do you still want like this place? And I said, yes, this place is well, of course I wanted to see it first. And then when I showed up, it was like I could see myself living in this unit. Like, it suits my needs perfectly. It's in such a good location. It has a lot of space. And so I said, okay, why don't we sit down and discuss the terms of this lease? And so we went over it, and I said, you know, this is like perfect. Like, it's within my budget. It's in such a great area. And so a month later, I moved in. But it's just like it worked out perfectly. And that's because I put in the effort to find a place, and it just worked out. I do contribute it to lucky because, of course, I was lucky to know somebody who would be willing to rent to somebody who didn't have any prior rental history. But because I had never lived on my own before, I'd always lived with my parents. I've never rented anything myself. You know, I did go to college, but I never lived in dorms. So, like, the fact that he was using his discretion to rent to me, that's also in itself very lucky. I do think things can happen. And like, I do like that saying, do your best. And yeah, of course there are people who work really hard only to be met with roadblocks. But I do think that people shouldn't let themselves get demoralized by it. And you know, if something becomes too difficult, then try something else. Yeah. You know, I've come so far. When I started this channel, I was in a really rough space. I was very lonely. I didn't have a lot of people I could talk to. And I was in a job that would make me so anxious just to go to that I absolutely, I started to hate so much. I had a job that I hated so much. Like, I was not in a good spot last year when I started this channel. And I started it because I needed some kind of outlet. I needed something to just kind of have a little bit of fun. And I was just not in a really good spot. Shortly before I started this channel, I started it last year in March, and the previous year I had a bunch of health scares, and I attributed all that to stress because I was just doing so much. At the time, I was burning myself out. I was ruining my health at a job that I considered to be dead end. Like, there was no room for growth there for me. And I was essentially destroying myself for it. And I ended up getting very sick. I put myself in harm's way because, keep in mind, this was during the pandemic. And I just kept not only putting myself through so much mental stress, I was physically stressing myself out because I was being constantly exposed to very sick people. And when I would get sick, my job wouldn't support me. When I got COVID and I had to be out, they rejected my leave because they said I needed a doctor's, a physician's note. And this was long after I had already had it, because when I had it, I put in for the leave and I filled out the paperwork and it was pending. And then a few weeks later, they said, oh, the leave was rejected. And so they actually had me pay back the company the money that they gave me on my leave. So they took it out of my paycheck, and I was like, what the hell? Why would they do that? Why would any company do that? Obviously I was sick. I am not somebody who likes missing work. And I called out because I was so sick and I tested positive for COVID. And even my own boss told me, yeah, you're definitely not feeling good. So then I missed, this was back when they had that policy that you had to be out for 10 days. And so I missed nearly 10 days of work because of it. And that's a lot of money. So they paid me for the leave, and then they took that money back. They took it out of my paycheck. And that really hurt because I had been with the company for a very long time. And that just felt like a slap in the face. Especially since I was also studying at the time. And my schoolwork also suffered too because I couldn't put in my full effort because I got so sick. And then later that year, I got the flu, and the company didn't have any policy for that. I just treated it like, you know, I just said, hey, I need some time out, like away, because I'm very sick right now. Like I had the flu, and like, yes, because I went to the doctor and they tested me for the flu, and that came back positive. So I didn't earn any money during that time, and this was around the holidays too, so it was really hard going into the new year with no funds. And it was just really difficult because, again, I was still in school and my grades suffered too because I was sick during finals, and I actually flunked one of my finals. And I basically said, hey, look, I had the flu, and it was really hard to. It was really hard to like concentrate because of how sick I was. And so basically I came to really resent that job because of how they treated me. And it's just like, you know, I was dreading going to work every single day because it was getting to the point where the company changed a lot of its like policies, and I was just getting overloaded with work every single day. It was like I was doing 3 different jobs at the same time. And you know, they would put me in an area for one day, and then they would say, hey, Eden, you need to come over here and do this other position for a while. And then I would get in trouble because the work I was initially assigned wouldn't get done because I would be working in another department. Like, I actually got written up once because the work in my regular department was piling up, and it's like, oh, I can't stock that area. I can't stock that area if I'm like working up front on register. I can't do this. Like, what do you expect me to do? And it was just getting to the point where I felt very unvalued. I felt like they were taking advantage of me. And I just said, no more. I'm not taking this anymore. So I left. I left because I said I deserve better. And for a while, they wouldn't do anything to help the situation. And so I left that place. And it was around that time that I started streaming. So I think that's what I needed to kind of build up my confidence, because, you know, after being treated like that for so long, you internalize it. And I really thought there was nothing to me. I thought, excuse me, I thought all people wanted out of me was physical labor. And I thought, you know, I'm not good at anything. Like, I can't get anything right. I can't do this. And so I started streaming just so I could have some kind of outlet. And it was the funniest thing. People enjoyed my content. People found me engaging, and they would repeatedly show up to my streams. And, you know, that felt really good. And so I joined with my friends, and they helped me like build my confidence, and they said, you know, this could be something very special. And so that's when I started streaming seriously for a while. And then, unfortunately, yeah, I didn't plan that, weirdly enough. This is just a playlist on shuffle. So I started streaming, and I would stream a lot for a while. But then I started to get burnt out again. And I was also running out of money, and that like affected my like mental health too. So I went and got another job where I felt like I could grow and learn more from. And that was around last October. So yeah, it's been over a year now. And so I got a new job where I felt like I was doing something meaningful. And of course, it took me some time to get settled in. And you know, I had a lot happening at once. But it felt so good to be doing something again and earning money again, of course. And then it was like, you know, a lot of things happened too. It just like happened all at once, weirdly enough. You know, there were, of course, a lot of roadblocks last year around this time. There was that whole thing with the Kindred and like that whole backlash against Vox's movie, and that did affect me and my friends some, because that's how we met each other, was because of Vox. And I think that was really hard for a lot of people to go through, because there was a shift in the community. I knew it was going to happen because Vox was warning us, but like a lot of people took it really hard. And some people even left the group because Kindred kind of turned on each other. And, you know, I was really unhappy with the way some people acted. And I'm not calling out anybody in particular, so if any Kindred are listening to this, this is just like the general vibe I got. And I knew that Vox didn't mean to hurt us. I knew that he was just going through some things, and he was trying to find his footing creatively. But I think some people took it personally, that because he changed the way he was interacting with his community. You know, he used to do like sus ASMR and like boyfriend experience, and he actually took those down. Not because he initially just wanted to keep them up and move on from it and just maybe unlist them, but his channel got a strike, so he had to delete all of them. And he specifically said that he is not going to do not safe for work stuff anymore, because it wasn't what he wanted to do in the first place. And a lot of people thought the fans forced him to do it, even though I don't think we did. I think he just didn't want to be known for being the sus ASMR guy anymore. And I think a lot of it was stuff that didn't even have to do with Kindred. It was stuff that more had to do with him, and at least this is what I understood from what he said. And, you know, when you have that big of a platform, you know, a lot of a lot of people were criticizing him unfairly too, because he is popular. And, you know, he had a lot of things happen. In a way, it seems like some people kind of have a personal grudge against him, even though he's literally done nothing wrong. And yeah, I think he didn't want to be pigeonholed. I think he wanted to grow into a more, like, serious direction. Yeah, exactly. I think he just wanted to go in a different direction creatively. I don't think it had anything to do with his fans or anything to do with that. And, you know, yeah. Well, he is a very interesting person, because the way he's seen is like this sexy, like, Ikemen guy. Yeah, he was. He seems like very sexy and suave and sensual. And then you log into his stream and he's like making monkey noises and stuff, like barking and just being goofy and quoting memes, and like it's very funny because he seems so serious, like the way he looks, but like he's a total goofball. But I do think, when yeah, and that whole thing with his movie about when he said he's a villain and he's hurt people, like, and he was acting all sad. He was acting all sad because of what was revealed in his lore. I think, again, he never intended to hurt his fans. I think he was just trying to creatively, like, find his footing. And it's really sad because I think he took it really hard when people, like, were upset over his change in his channel direction. I think because there was this one part on stream where people were trying to get him to address something, and he lashed out, and I think he felt really bad about that. But I did see the clip. I wasn't there during that stream because I was busy, but I like watched that moment in the stream, and I was like, no, he's not trying to like hurt people. He sounded very defensive. Yeah, he just sounded defensive. And I don't know him personally, but he, I've seen somebody be in that situation before, and yeah, exactly. I think it's fine. I think, again, like I said, I think he was just trying to figure things out and he had a vision in his mind of what he wanted to do, but I think he was just trying his best to figure out what would be the best way to accommodate what the fans needed and what he wanted to do. But my take on it is, and this just goes for anybody. Yeah. I think if you need to distance yourself from a creator or content, I think you as a fan don't need to tell them why. Because honestly, I just assume people, like, things change. And if somebody makes that decision that the content isn't for them, then that's okay, It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to just like decide, okay, this isn't for me. Like, this is entertainment, and it's people's responsibility to engage with it in a way that's healthy. Like, I'm not going to be upset if people decide to not watch one of my streams because they don't like what I'm doing or they don't like the kind of game I'm playing. I'm not going to be upset, okay? Yeah, that's fine. I think that's fine. People move on, It's like somebody I know who they adore creator. They like them very much. But they won't watch their streams if they're playing a horror game because they're not very good with horror. And I'm not going to take that personally. Oh, hang on. Sorry, my phone went off. I don't think you should feel like a bad person for that. I think, your time is valuable. And if you're not interested in what that person is doing, then it's fine to skip that stream. It's as simple as that. I don't think there's no such thing as true fan versus untrue fan. I think in order to be a true fan of something or someone, all you need to do is like them. Fandom can be very gatekeeping. I think what makes somebody a true fan is if they enjoy the content and they are respectful. I think people who don't go against the streamer's wishes and harass others and are disrespectful to the streamer, they're not true fans. I'm not going to be insulted if people can't show up to every stream. I'm not going to be upset about that, okay? I want you all to take care of yourselves. And if you need to disengage for whatever reason, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be resentful. I'm just going to think, okay, maybe they've got something going on, and yeah, it's definitely a FOMO thing, and I've experienced that too. think a lot of people have. You know? It's like that meme of Squidward watching SpongeBob and Patrick having fun. You know? You don't want to feel like you're missing out on something exciting. But you know, the VODs will be there. Unless I will always say if something's going to be unarchived. So that, and like even then I don't mind if people record it, you know, and like put it in like a Google Drive or something like that. I don't mind that. Just don't re-upload it. Okay. But I will always say if something's going to be unarchived. But like I said, there's the VODs, and leaving a like and even commenting, that really does help me out a lot. Oh, don't worry about it. I have streamed where there hasn't been an active chat, or like I've streamed to no viewers before. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Like, honestly, there's actually an option in my Streamlabs where I can hide the viewers, the amount of viewers who are in here. So, I just don't know a lot of the time. Yeah. I just hide the amount of viewers that are currently watching. I just don't look. I think that's probably the best for yeah. Yeah, like one thing that you could do too. Yeah. Honestly though, one thing that a lot of like streamers appreciate is, again, leaving feedback and also sharing the videos with other people. You know, clipping always helps. Fan art too. Like even just like putting in the effort to spread my name, you know, sharing my streams and clipping important moments and doing fan art, like creating fan content and like derivative work, that always helps. Yeah, that's something I want to address, is derivative work with such as fan art, fan merchandise, fanfics. So about that. One thing I want to clarify is fan art, perfectly okay as long as you use the tags, or just like say who it is, or even just tag me if you're on Twitter. Just like tag me in the picture, in the like description. Like say who it is, just say who, and like clarify who you're drawing and stuff like that. And just mention that. So yeah, fan art is okay. Fate's safe for work and not safe for work, both okay. I'm okay with not safe for work art. That is perfectly fine with me. Um, fanfics, that's okay too. In terms of shipping, I'm okay with that too, as long as everyone involved is okay with it, and don't ship me with people who don't want to be shipped with others. Obviously, like, respect their boundaries too. Shipping is okay. Like, shipping me with other VTubers is okay. I'm fine with that as long as they're okay with it. A force of evil. Me too. Me too. If I could draw not safe for work, then I would be unstoppable. I'd be too powerful. Yeah, so shipping's fine. Even if you want to like sell, like make fan art of me and sell it, like fan merchandise, that's fine too. Is as long as you like pass it off as fan merchandise and not as like official, that's fine. Yeah. Like, if you want to like make like fan merch of me and like sell it at conventions, like in the artist alley, that's fine. That's perfectly okay. Yes, please don't use AI art. So I own the commercial rights to my model. Okay. Of course. Thank you, Cosmos. So I own the commercial rights to my model, so anything, like if I were to make fan merchandise, that would go to me. But of course, I would probably give Gaius a cut, because, you know, I do want to help him out. Oh, what you can do, and I did give Gaius. Yeah. And I did give Gaius permission to do this. He does have commissions open right now. So if you want to commission art from him of me, that is perfectly okay. I'm okay with that. If you want to get some lovely art from him, I did give him full permission to make art of me and earn money off of that. That is perfectly okay with me. He is drawing not safe for work art now, so just to let you all know, you know. He's doing NSFW now, so if that's something y'all want, that's pretty much as official as it can get. So I did tell him he could do that. Like, honestly though, I am not so protective of my image that I'm not gonna like yeah. Honestly though, like if you like an artist and you want a commission, just like tell them, you can just give them references of me. I still need to make an official reference sheet. Yeah, feel free to like tell artists if you want art of me. That is perfectly okay. Yeah. Oh, please Like, do whatever. Yeah. Well, I don't show my actual image, so like this is fine. Do what you want. Free game. Go be as unhinged and brain rotty as you want. That is fine with me. Honestly, I'd be flattered. That is like the highest form of flattery, in my opinion, is somebody like creating, like commissioning sussy art of me. That is like something I consider to be very flattering. It's like, oh my god, you paid somebody to make this. Like, I love it. But honestly, I'm not like so protective of my image and like copyright and stuff like that. Like, I would say I'm pretty attached to this persona, but like, I don't know. It's to the point where I don't mind. I don't mind like sexualization of it. I don't mind that. I am very open about that kind of stuff. I am very positive. I think it's because I give people permission to do it that I don't mind it. Because if I give permission, then in a way people can't hurt me with it. Yeah, that's true. I've always been very accepting of it, of NSFW art. I've always been very accepting. I'll even like look at it myself. And yeah, I've commissioned people to make it for me too, so. I think it's just like, oh, hang on. I think it's more just like for me, I'm just very comfortable with having that boundary, and for me, it's just like, you know, I wouldn't have created this image if I didn't want people to you know, engage with that kind of content involving me. I would have created something else. I would have put out a different kind of image. I think it's because this kind of image was a deliberate choice that I don't mind. It's not something that bothers me. Like, this was very, I wouldn't say calculated. This is more of like something that was well thought out and considered, and this did require planning. Like, I didn't choose like a sexy mature image because I thought it would do well. I chose it because that's what I wanted. I do know there are creators who do fan servicey models and then don't want to engage in fan service. I mean, that's like up to them. But I feel like if people created models that were more true to themselves, then they would probably be happier streamers. At least that's what I think. You know, just stay true to yourself, be who you are, and that is how you will reach satisfaction as a creator, I think. Like, don't do something just because you think it'll make you popular or it'll get you views or numbers. Just do it because it's what makes you happy. And that's what I'm gonna leave you all with today. I do have to go, and I will see you all very soon. Bye bye.